Howdy y'all. Welcome back to my channel. My name is A.R. Cavley, and these are the further adventures of Russel Miranda, Gunslinger. When we last left, they had tried to convince the mayor, Dana Jackson, to make it illegal for anyone to visit the oil fields where this strange god, Arcustine, that Diana Gomez is preaching. And as they were trying to do that, they found a segul in the mayor's office that was casting some kind of glam, some kind of spell over the mayor. Russell was able to smash it with his beefy gunslinger grip, and it seemed to free Mayor Jackson, who had been coming up with reasons why he couldn't really do that, why he couldn't enact such a law. Once the sigil was destroyed, he signed it, told his secretary to put in triplicate, and they were going to take care of that, going to spread the law, or spread the news of the law around. Lucas Rivera was going to keep track of what was going on in town and go about searching for these seguls to see if there was any other people, especially officials, who might be under Diana's sway. And while he's doing that, Russel Miranda is going to head out to the oil field, actually towards the little church, and watch to see what happens. He's expecting that one of the cultists will come rushing out and tell Diana about the new ordinance, and she will do something. Not exactly sure what, but probably something. So he is going to, just because he's not exactly sure what's going to happen, he's going to go ahead and grab, on his way out of town, he's going to grab a handful of sticks of dynamite. Because there are mines, there are workers, smelters, and other gunslingers. He does manage to get about 3 or 4 from the High Sheriff's Office, which is where he and Lucas, the other gunslinger, have been staying before he rides out that way. So now we're going to draw and see what scene 4 is. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this deck because I get a lot of repeats and stuff. I'm not sure why it's not letting me shuffle. There we go. All right, so a 3 is 3 of clubs gives us a standard agile challenge. So I think that's going to be fairly self-explanatory. He's going to try to hide. He's going to try to be sneaky and stay out of sight and observe. But where he's at is not really the best place. Just because the church is kind of in an open area along a path, so it'd be a little difficult to sneak, but we'll see what he does. So he rides out, and he goes a little slower at first to make sure that Lucas and the other deputies are well underway doing their work, and then he rides forward quickly so that he can outrace anybody that might be coming to warn Diana, because they might have a horse. So he rides along, finds himself a hiding place, and he wants it to be close enough so he can at least see who's coming out, maybe catch some snippets of this screaming in panic as as Diana's plans are undone. That's going to be an average agile roll. Is that right? Standard, yeah. So 5 or 6. For him, that's 2 die 6, and he doesn't really have any perks for that. So see what happens. Okay, so he believes he's hidden. He doesn't get any kind of indication that he's been spotted as he pulls off into a place nearby thinks is good. And someone does eventually come running up. They're not riding anything, but they're sprinting pretty good. There's a couple of them. Younger men. He doesn't recognize them, especially from the distance. They go running in, they pound on the door, they make a strange hand signal and bow before they cross the threshold of the church, and they go inside. Okay, so I had to mark that one as a fail using the Tricube Tales solo rules. Keep track of whether the challenges are wins or fails. That one has to go in the fail column. So he's waiting outside. These two young men run inside the church for several minutes. And fearing that he's missing something because he doesn't hear anything, doesn't see anything, he tries to get a little closer. And as he does so, the two men burst out of a nearby door. Both of them now holding these big, rusty, old looking shotguns. They didn't have them before, so Diana must have given them to him, or given them the guns. And they immediately start scanning and getting ready to draw down. Russell, of course, well, he's going to do what gunslingers do, and he's going to go for his big iron. He's going to slap leather and try to put some lead in these men's heads. We deal in lead, gunslinger, as his instructor told him. I have almost the perfect background here for this fight, so I just made this screen real quick. They come running out, rusty old shotguns blazing. They look like tough guys, but they're a little out of their league. They're more they're more insane. They're more brainwashed than they are skilled. So he's going to try to gun him down, which is an agile roll. And I think at this point, because they did kind of surprise him because he didn't realize he had been seen, and they knew almost exactly where he was at. So he has very little time to react. So he's going to, like I said, slap leather and draw the big guns. Each one of these guys are basically just rubes. They're little cultists that came running from town. So it's going to be a standard difficulty. Okay, 0 successes. Again, not rolling that great. I think he's going to use a perk. He's going to use a perk to change that difficulty down to 4. So he focuses in on his gunslinger training, realizes that he kills with his heart, and puts a bullet through gunman number 1 here. Boom, 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 boom. The other gunman he jumps aside as one of the big iron, one of Russell's bullets flies by, and he levels his rusty old gun and lets loose. Russell is going to try to find cover, jump out of the way. He doesn't want to get blasted, so that's going to be a average agility. Okay, good grief. Another fail. Well, he's gonna lose the resolve for that one. Now he's down to two Ka, and two resolve. The pellets from the shotgun are not as strong as they could be if it were a properly maintained gunslinger shotgun. And most of what hits Russel Miranda are pieces of rock and dirt, but it definitely gets he definitely feels the pain as the pellets in the dirt slam into hit some exposed skin on his neck and his duster. Now he takes both of his guns from his new position and he focuses on the other gunman as the battle fury descends. He's trying to keep an eye open to see what kind of crazy hijinks Diana is up to. But he's going to try to shoot this guy first. And let's see, this guy, it's close range. He's kind of sitting there. He's trying to reload this shotgun. This is one of those old break open shotguns. And because he's not an experienced fighter or gunslinger, he's just kind of standing there fumbling with it. So I'm going to make this one a difficulty 4 roll. Okay. Barely. Whoops. Okay. Barely. But it's enough. Russell shoots 2 or 3 times, boom, 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 with his big irons, and one of the bullets catches the second man square in the chest, and he falls down, his shotgun falling, still broken open, trying to reload across his chest. Not really knowing what else to do, but knowing that Diana sent those people out to get him, he rushes into the church, guns ready to arrest her, to apprehend her, maybe shoot her if she's got some kind of funky voodoo going on. Is she in the church? I'm going to say it's very unlikely that she is in the church, because she is probably running away towards that. She would not have just hung around to face the gunslinger. She wants to go get help from her god or try to at least hide from him. So I'm going to say she's only inside on a 1. Okay, no. He looks out and he looks around and he takes a couple minutes, not minutes, but he takes a couple of moments to carefully go around. If she had 2 shotguns, she might have a third one. So he's cleaning he's cleaning the house as his instructor taught him, slicing the pie, clearing the corners. And by the time he gets to there's not that many in this old shanty church. By the time he gets to the back, the podium is empty, and he hears hoof strikes on the dirt pan outside. He kicks open the back door and he looks and he sees Diana, who he assumes is Diana, riding hell-bent for leather on some little pony or a donkey, one, he's not sure. With a muttered curse, he heads back, he holsters his pistols, heads back to his own, and rides after her. So this next scene, let's say for the sake of the story, because they are pretty close and because she knows the land very well, she actually gets to the gas pumping station before he can catch up to her. She's going to find her god. That's what she's looking for. I'll make it a standard agility roll to see if he can catch up to her before then. All right. So she knows the way, but her little donkey is no match for Ensign. Ensign, sensing the chase, just opens up. He's making long strides, and he seems to know the way. As using that horse instinct, Diana, manages to get through the gate, which is no longer locked. It's been opened, and gets inside. But before she can get to the place where she's trying to get to, where her oil patch god is, Russel Miranda has reloaded, and he pulls Ensign to a stop in front of her and levels a pistol at her forehead. Are you running for your oil patch god, witch, cousin? You've crossed too far this time. You've attacked a gunslinger of Gilead. It's an old god, ye Gilead sodomite, from a world your simple brain and backward ways could never ken. All I need to know is that it's from the outer dark. Russell knew what all gunslinger students knew about glamours and bogies, and even a mite more, having faced the Ghost Riders. The upshot was that man knew shit about it. Russell suspected that even the witches and sorcerers who summoned such prim orphan monsters understood no better. They simply knew a trick, or were tools of the very beings they sought to master. The whole line of Eld is from the darkness. Spiders and demons, charrymen and cousiners. But this one, she stops to motion towards the other side of the oil patch. This one was there before Arthur and his knights, and it'll be here long after Gilead falls, which will be soon, pup. I smell its corruption like a festering wound. It's your own rotting nethers you smell, witch. You are a whore and betrayer who found a powerful glam to play with. Russell nodded towards the sludge patch himself. You will not survive your own prophecy, if prophecy it is. Yon demon will devour thee as well. Russell could see by the look in her eyes that Diana Gomez was completely enthralled by whatever lived in the patch, or was insane, or most likely both. It was also clear, by the way his balls were climbing into his guts, that something real lurked beyond. Russell wondered if the junk wall had been placed in the hopes of keeping it contained, or if the thing had found it and hidden within. There was no way to know, and it didn't matter. What mattered was how K'ar-Kustine was going to act when Russell blew Diana's brains out. It was time to send her to the clearing. Diana's eyes bulged. Ye daren't, she screamed in the high speech. Roland glanced around for the best escape route and blew a hole in her forehead when he saw her fingers twitch. The shot echoed through the abandoned, screeching oil field like the scream of a ghost. Now let's see, does this god, this thing that she at least believes has power, and obviously something has some power. She did use glams. Let's roll 1d6. Does this thing respond? Say a 4, 5, or 6. It does something. Nope. So it doesn't even care. It doesn't care that it's high priest or high priestess, if it even recognized Diana as that. Just got her head blown off. How powerful is it? Is it a powerful entity of some kind? I believe I had rolled that before in one of the previous episodes, but I can't remember now, so I'll just roll again. Okay, so it is whatever it is that lives in that patch. It is something that must be dealt with. It hasn't come and attacked him, so Russel Miranda is going to go take care of it. He gets down, replaces the bullet, reloads the gun as Diana Gomez's now collapsed and bloody forehead gazes up into the darkening sky. Russell lashes a rope from Ensign to all the crap that he had stacked in front to make sure she couldn't get there, and starts pulling. It doesn't take long with the horse's help, and he's the one that set it up, so soon the area is clear again, and he can see through the opened area of this junk wall that there is, or he can see the black oil patch again, and it does seem to be moving. It's undulating as if an unseen wind were blowing waves onto a black lake. What is the nature? What is the nature of our threat? Let's just give it a die 66 roll, and we'll just use a plot twist token from the solo rules. All right, so a 2-4. We look at the fantasy. Looks like maybe some kind of Eye of Sauron tower. That has some possibilities. 2-4 for horror. Looks like it's like a thumbprint. Maybe a mystery kind of thing. And 2-4 for science fiction. Looks like some kind of android. Maybe an android recharging station, or maybe, actually looks like it might be some kind of healing type tank from, like Star Wars, that they call it back to tank. Looks like someone's in some kind of tank. I kind of like that. Kind of like that idea. All right, so that puts me in mind of two choices. I think I'll go with the science fiction. That puts me in mind of two ideas I have. I'm going to just roll 1d6 and see which one it goes with. Okay. So Russell steps forward and eyes the undulating black ooze, the sludge patch. Not quite sure what it is, but there's something there. He can feel it this time. He can sense it. His gunslinger training is kicking in, is warning him that something's about to happen, that something is there. And as he is pondering what to do, because he does have dynamite, he's deciding whether he should try to throw dynamite in there. But as one of the deputies had pointed out previously, that might cause a much bigger explosion than he wants at this point. And as he's sitting considering, something starts to rise out of the sludge. Russell immediately pulls one of his pistols, keeping dynamite in the other hand, pulls a pistol and steps to the side so that he has cover from whatever's rising. He's peering around the opening in the junk wall. And what he sees is it looks like a pillar, a column that rises, and the sludge slowly drains away and reveals a humanoid, a person of some kind who is sitting there, or who is standing there with tubes and a mask. And as the sludge is slowly draining away, because it's sticky, it doesn't want to fall off like water, Russell realizes that the connections look very familiar. They are very similar to the connections that he saw underneath the old one's tunnels beneath Bone Ridge, where the house child had been plugged in, where the people, the crazy Manny who had kidnapped the boy to sacrifice him to become the Ghost Riders of Tahira, that same kind of machinery, that same kind of connection. And this creature is big. It looks like a person as the sludge continues to slough away. It's definitely humanoid, definitely human shape, but it's about 7 foot tall at least. And a hand comes up and swipes black sludge from its face to reveal gaunt, burned looking skin, eyes that are shriveled but have glowing centers, almost like some of the spark bulbs that he sees, that he knows from the halls of the castle in Gilead and some of the other places in the inner barony who still have spark tubes and a little bit of electricity still going on. The face is definitely flesh, though. It's soft looking and clammy, and the shape starts pulling these tubes out of its arm and scraping off slime from one arm, then the other, and then wiping it from its chest. Its chest is bare. It looks like it's crisscrossed with surgical marks and connections for other tubes. And as this being continues to clean itself off, Russell stares at it. It looks ghoulish. Its skin is pasty. It's pale with darker bluish areas like a corpse. The eyes move, scan around the area in a precise pattern, and then focus back on him, but they never blink. And the creature steps forward. Russell had not noticed, but also that rising with the column was a walkway in front of it that ends at the edge of the patch, very close to the opening in the junk wall. As he steps forward, a final couple of tubes pop out and hiss from his back. They swing around before falling into the goop. He stumbles, shuffles forward, leaving goopy prints on the ground as he slowly makes his way out of the enclosed area. He slowly is shuffling towards Russell. Russell, not really sure what to do with him, is backing away, keeping his gun ready and dynamite in one hand as he's wishing he had some kind of cigar or cigarette lit so that he could just at least light the dynamite right away if he needed to. But he backs up. This thing it's big, and even though it's gaunt and gangly, ghoulish, as I said, looking like corpse, it has a presence to it. The muscles are strong. The lean muscles ripple like cords beneath the dead-looking flesh. The eyes zip around again as if scanning the whole area without the head turning away from staring at Russell. And then the eyes stop at Diana's corpse, her forehead blown in, a pile of brains on the ground, and an expanding puddle of blood beneath her lifeless head. Then the eyes slowly scan back towards Russell. You shouldn't have done that. She had things to do for me. And now, I'm going to make you pay, gunslinger. And we'll call it right there, because that puts it, well, after the edits, it'll probably be less than 30 minutes, but that puts it at an end, and it'll give me a little time to develop who this guy actually is. I'm kind of, improving, so I will take some time to make him interesting. Anyway, thank you for being along. I hope you enjoyed the further adventures of Russel Miranda, and I will see you next time. Happy gaming.